Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to COTA ACT's free online exercise session. Today we have an exercise session based around lower body strength, mobility and stretching. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Diane Percy. I'm the Strength for Life coordinator here at COTA ACT, and I'm also a Strength for Life instructor. And with me is my co-pilot, my buddy Duncan Craig, and Duncan teaches Strength for Life here on Tuesdays. We have 4 classes running at COTA, and since we haven't been able to run our face-to-face classes, we've been running the online exercise sessions, which are not a Strength for Life program per se, because the program requires an individualised program for each person who participates in the classes. But we thought this is a great way for us to fill in that gap between the time that we can get back to teaching people face to face, and also give everybody out there who's interested in continuing to exercise over this challenging period of time we're in, so that you can do this in the privacy of your own home, and hopefully when things get back to normal you might come and do some Strength for Life classes with us in the future. So what we're going to do is Duncan is going to be doing most of the standing exercises, probably a little bit more advanced, and I will do most of the exercises seated to start off with. The balance exercises, obviously if we want to challenge our balance we need to be standing, so we'll both be doing that then. So I would encourage you to pick the person that you'd like to follow depending on your fitness level, depending on any injuries that you might have or any chronic conditions you might have. And just remember that we always want to mention at the beginning of every class that there is a risk of injury when we do physical activity. We will try our best to minimise any of those risks by giving you correct feedback on technique, giving you options, but I'd also like you to remain aware that there is a risk of injury, so please go at your own pace. Make sure that you're not doing anything that feels uncomfortable for you, and just understand that there is a certain risk there. All right, so let's get started. We've got about 40 minutes. I'll start sitting in the chair. If you're standing, you want to be upright like Duncan, maybe feet about hip width distance apart. And we're going to go through a little bit of an upper body warm up because everything's connected, and then move into our lower body. You need plenty of space around you. If you've got a little water bottle in case you'd like to have a drink of water during the session, that's a great idea. Maybe just pop it under your chair. Don't really need anything else. Comfortable clothing, and if you'd like to pop on a little bit of music in the background, well then that's up to you. All right, so let's get started. So our first exercise, we're just going to start sitting or standing, whatever position you're in, lifting up nice and tall through the top of the head. Now let's just take a breath in, and as you breathe in through the nose, lift the shoulders up, and then as you breathe out, roll the shoulders back and down. And again, take a deep breath in and a long breath out. So you can breathe in through the nose if you can, and either out through the nose or the mouth. Lovely. One more time. And now let's bring the shoulders back and then up and forward. So we're just reversing that circle. Good. One more time. And down. Lovely. Now relaxing your shoulders. Let's just do a head tilt to the side. So ear towards the shoulder, and then back to the center and across to the other side. So here we're just trying to mobilize the neck, warm up the muscles a little bit in the side of the neck, and feeling just a mild stretch as you do that. So not really forcing the movement. Good, last one, and then back to the center, And now keeping everything facing forward, we're just turning the head. So you want to stay lifted through the top of your head as you do this. Let's turn our head to the right, look over the shoulder, come back to the center, and then across to the other side. Back to the center again, and turning. Same thing here, you don't want to force the movement, just a nice smooth movement. Lots of nerves come out of that part of the neck, so we want to make sure that they're ready as well as the muscles. Last one. Now let's stay here. Next stretch is chin towards the chest, and then lift the head, stick the tongue to the roof of the mouth and jump the chin forward and up. And then let's do that again. So chin towards the chest, lift the head, jump the chin forward and up. One more time. And lift. Lovely. And then release. Good. So upper body's nice and warm. Nice work. Okay, let's just start with a toe tap now. So tapping the toes, lifting them one at a time, and you want to feel like you're getting a bit of warmth into the front of the shin. I'm just going to check my volume just to make sure it's up nice and loud. I'll get you to keep going there for me, Duncan. Lovely. Good. And now let's warm up into the calves. So just lifting the heels up and down. Good. And although this is lower body mobility, we can always add in a little bit of upper body. So if you feel comfortable to do so, just lifting the arms up as you lift the heels and then sweeping them back as you place the heels down again. So you might want to reach up towards the ceiling. I'll get you, Duncan, to do like a full stretch up. Good. Can you go up on both heels? Yep. Testing me out now. Good. One more time. Lovely. Okay, and release. Nice work. Okay, so our first bit of mobilizing, warming up into the lower body. If you're seated, you want to sit a little bit closer to the front of the chair. Bring your feet slightly to one side. We're just going to take a step out to our right and then bring the left foot towards the right foot and then back the other way. So once you're comfortable with that, so go all the way to the left and then all the way to the right. Keep going there, Duncan. Good, so we're doing a side step. Now I want you to pick a speed that suits you. So you might want to go a little bit faster, or you might want to go a little bit slower. So just stepping side to side. This is great for warming up the muscles in the hip. Good. Now let's just change that a little bit. So we're going to place our heel in front. Step and tap the heel in front. Step and tap in front. Good. Good. See, I'm watching you at the same time. And then if you want, add the arms. So you might just want to pull the elbows back as you tap in front. I didn't tell him he was going to be my aerobic person. And now that toe tap or that heel tap in front, we're going to turn it to a toe tap behind. So you tap behind, step and tap behind. So if you want to keep going seated, do that. I might come up and join Duncan. Yeah, so we're just going to take a tap behind, and you can see that we don't have to move at the same pace. So I'm going to get Duncan to move just a little bit quicker than me. And then just let the arms go natural. What's important is what you're doing with your legs. Good. Now let's change that toe tap so that we do a knee lift. So we'll do a step and a knee lift, step and a knee lift. And remember, you can be doing this as you're seated as well. Good. Good. Now let's just push down onto the knee. As you lift the knee, just tap the knee. Lots of mobility here. Excellent. And now let's change that knee lift to a heel behind. So you're bringing the heel up towards the buttock. Good. And let's add a bicep curl. So lifting the hands up and down and up. Keep going. So if you're seated, you can still do this one on the chair. However, you need the buttock to be sitting close to the edge of the chair, and you're just pulling your heel towards the bottom of the chair. And doing the same thing with the arms. Good. Nice. Lovely. And then release. Good. Nice work. Okay, so next movement, nice and warm? Yep. So Duncan will be doing a sit to stand. So if you want to bring your chair around, and I'll be doing a knee extension. So the difference here is that if you have any problems with your knees and it's quite difficult for you to be able to do that sit to stand in time with Duncan, do the exercise with me. It takes a bit of the load off the knees, and then you still get to work the muscles in the front of the thigh. So Duncan, I'll get you to place your hands on your shoulders. Bring the feet in so they're about hip width distance apart. Good. And Duncan's going to keep that space between the knees the same as he stands up. So off you go. And then as you sit down and stop there. Perfect. So Duncan's going to do 12 of those, and I'll do alternating knee extensions at the same time. So follow whoever you want to follow. If you're seated like me, you might want to just place your hands down, hold on to the chair, or just place them up on your thighs. So when you're ready, follow who you'd like to. And as I'm doing my leg extension, I'm trying not to lock out the knees. Good. Lovely. And the effort in that sit to stand is as you're coming up out of the chair. So try and do that breath out as you stand up. And for me, as I straighten my leg, that's where I need to put the effort in. So my breathing should be out as I extend, in on the way back. How many are you up to, Duncan?
That's 10.
10, nice. To make sure I talk fast enough. Lovely. And 12. Excellent. Give the legs a little shake out. Nice work. Did you feel it in your legs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great. Good. All right, so if you do need to take a little break, grab your water now, have a sip, and we'll move on to some more lower body exercises. What we've done here is we've combined a few exercises together. So if Duncan, if you want to come up to standing, the exercise that you'll do with Duncan, and you might want to just push the chair right out of the way, or just have it there in case you need to hold on to the chair. The very first one, Duncan's going to take a step forward with one foot and then come back. And then we do a hip lift. So there's two movements. Good. So it's a step forward and then on the same side. So if you're coming out in front, stepping and feet together, and then a knee lift. And then do the same thing on the other side. So we'll alternate. If you're sitting down, instead of that step forward, we're just going to do a heel tap and then a knee lift. And then a heel tap and a knee lift. All right, so off we go. Let's do 12 of those. So stepping forward or heel tap, and then lift the knee up and down. Now the other leg, stepping forward. So that step forward, if you want, can be turned into a lunge. Only if your knees feel like it's okay. And maybe if you're used to doing lunges, you could go into that straight away. You always want to feel the effort in the muscle and not in the joint. Good. If you're sitting like me, you'll probably find those muscles in the front of the hip are going to do a lot more work, and probably a lot more work than when we're standing. So I'm getting you to count, am I, Duncan? Or
Yeah, that's it.
I have to ask people out there, how many have we done? Okay. Let's just do a couple more. This is great for your hip flexor muscles, muscles in the front of the thigh. Lovely. And last one. Stop there. Nice work. Good. All right. So we move on to exercises that are for the side of the hips, our gluteus medius muscles, and we're also going to incorporate a calf exercise. So standing exercise, you might want to have the chair in front or the chair by your side. You're just going to do a side tap to one side and then a calf raise. So up onto the balls of the feet and then tap out to the other side. So just make sure that you're not running into your chair, and see that movement that we're doing standing, we can use those same muscles as we're seated. So we're rotating out at the hip and then we're lifting the heels. Good. Out at the hip and lifting the heels. Open and lift. Nice. Open. Now, Duncan, change that side tap to the side leg raise. So that's going to make it a little bit harder. So either a tap or leg raise. Good. And then go back to the calf raise. Good. So one out to the side and then lift, and either a toe tap or a leg lift. Calf raise, toe tap or leg lift, and calf raise. Good. So when you're doing that leg lift, be really careful not to let your body move to the other side. So you don't have to lift the leg very high. Good. And even if you're seated, when we're doing that calf raise, you might want to use your hands to press into the thighs. Lovely. Let's do two more, one on each side. Tap side and lift. Good. And tap side and lift. Nice work. And walk it out. Good. Now this last exercise, if you're able to do this standing, I think we'll get a lot more benefit out of it. So I'm going to come up to standing. We'll turn onto our side. So you might want to have the chair in front of you. Perfect. So the exercise here is for the buttock muscle and the back of the thigh. You can have the hands on the chair, or you might want to have the hands sitting on the hips. We're going to bring one leg back. And when you do that, you want to feel the muscle in the buttock tighten up. We keep the foot there, and now let's bring the heel towards the buttock, and then bring the toe down, and then bring the feet together. And now let's do the other side. So tapping back, heel lift, and tap, and together. Good. And again, tap, heel lift, and toe, and together. Nice work. Tap, and lift, tap, and together. Good. So as you lift the heel, you want to feel the muscle in the back of the thigh working. When you bring the leg back, you want to feel that buttock muscle just tighten up a little bit. You don't want to feel anything in your lower back. So if you do, sometimes it's because we're bringing the leg too far back. See how my lower back doesn't really change position? Good. And these muscles are really important. Help us stay strong in the back of the body. They contribute to our lower body strength to help prevent risk of falling. Good. Let's do two more. Tap, lift, tap, and back. And one more time. Lift, back, and together. Good. And then walk it out. Good job. Now, we'll turn back to the front. I'll get you, Duncan, to show a standing hamstring stretch, and I'll do that stretch seated, so you'll have a choice of which one you'd like to do. If you're standing, you're just bending your knees, extending one leg out in front, and and then sitting back onto that back leg. And the stretch you want to feel from your ankle up to the buttock. And we're trying to keep our back in that nice neutral position. So we're always moving forward from the hip and not from the head. When you're sitting on your chair, you'll be doing the same thing, just leaning forward from the hips. And then coming back up slowly, and then other side. So we get to stretch our calf, our hamstring, a little bit into the buttock as we hinge forward from the hip. And then come back up. Good, give the legs a little shake out. Nice work, everyone. Good work. All right, how are we doing? Perfect. All right, so now we're going to come into some balance work. So you still might need your chair by your side, but if you're comfortable to be challenged by just having the hands on the hips, go ahead and do that. So our position for our balance, we've either got the feet hip width distance apart. If that's challenging enough for you, let's stay there. If you'd like to be further challenged, bring the feet together. And then if you'd like an extra challenge, you might want to go into that tandem stance. So we've got 1 foot in front, 1 foot behind, and then either holding onto the chair or not. And now this practice, we're going to lift up tall through the top of the head, and the hand that we don't have on the chair, let's just bring that arm out in front, and then point your index finger. And now let's glance at our index finger. And then start to lift the arm, but keep looking at your finger. And now let's bring the arm out to the side, but keep watching your finger as you do that. You can turn the head if you want. Let's bring the hand back to the center. Let's bring the arm up a little bit higher if you can. Watch the finger. And then lower the arm, but keep looking at the finger. Let's bring it all the way down. Good. Now let's change the position. If you're in that tandem stance, place the other foot in front. And you might want to bring your chair around to the other side if that's if it's important for you to hold on. Now here what we're going to do is, instead of lifting the arm up and out and back and down, we're going to write our name, our first name. So if your name is very short, you want to put your middle name in there as well. But what I want you to do is keep looking at your index finger as you're doing that. So let's start to write our name. Holding on to the chair or not, you'll notice the difference if you're not holding on. And try not to cheat, because sometimes we tend not to look at the index finger. How are you doing, Duncan? Yep. I'm a bit slower, I think. Lovely. So that's another great challenge, and especially if you've got a very long name, or if you'd like to do the alphabet, you can see how that challenges our how we see our body in space. Every little movement that we're doing is helping to improve our balance. One of the things we wanted to show you today, if you have a partner that you exercise with, this is a really fun one to do together, and it's about challenging our balance. What you'll do is you'll stand facing your partner, and you pick the position that you want to place your feet in. So I'll get you to come in. Well, we can't get too close to each other, but... So we'll pop our hands up in front of our shoulders. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my arms, my hands, and Duncan has to follow my movement with his hands. So it's as if we're mirror imaging each other. So just to give you a snapshot of what you could be doing with your partner. So are we going to go tandem? We could. All right, so you ready? We've got to keep breathing at the same time though.
Very tai chi.
It is. And then you can also go to, you know, moving the fingers, hands up. Ah. And what happens is sometimes we anticipate what the other person is going to do, so don't let them cheat with you.
As long as there's no spot movements.
So we want to be kind to each other and not go too fast. Hands in. Well done. So if you want to practice that with someone, it also is a great way to interact and have a bit of fun at the same time that you're challenging your balance. All right, so we've done some of our mobility, we've done some strength exercises, we've done some balance. Let's move into our final stretches, either standing or seated. With the calf stretch, it's really challenging to do it well in a seated position. We don't get to stretch the whole of the muscle, so I'd suggest that we stay standing. Let's just bring our chair around. Place your hands on the front of your chair, or you might want to just place the hands on the hips. So let's bring one foot behind. We always tend to do this stretch because we need those muscles in the lower leg to stay nice and flexible. They help us move around, they help us keep walking, doing our day-to-day activities. Make sure you can really feel that stretch in the calf. Shouldn't be too intense. Good, and then let's change legs. So pressing the heel down, lifting the toes just a little bit in your shoe. Good, and then coming back to the center. Now this one is for the muscles in the front of the hip, a little bit into the thigh. We're trying to give a modification where there's no pressure on the knee. So this first level is just bringing one foot back, and you want to rest the ball of the foot on the floor. Yep, so I'll get you just to place your hands up on the hips there, Duncan. A slight pelvic tilt, and then we just let our body sort of sink a little bit. So we're dropping a bit towards the floor. Good. So you want to have shoulders over the hips, and the shoulders are forward just a tiny bit. Yep. And so you want to feel the stretch here in the front of the hip, maybe down into the thigh. A more advanced version is to hold on to that back ankle, but a lot of people over the age of 50 might have a bit of wear and tear on the knees, and it could be a little bit uncomfortable. So if this is not doable for you, our other option was that pelvic tilt and just drop down a little bit. Good. And now let's try that on the other side. It's really important to find the stretch that works best for you. So very slight pelvic tilt, feeling it in the front of the hip, down into the front of the thigh. And then coming back to the center. Lovely. And now we'll hold on to our chair for the moment, and then just take a step out to the side. We're going to bend one knee, and then we're going to stretch the inner thigh of the other leg. So I might get you to show that one, Duncan. So we're going to step out. Yep. And you can place the hands down on the thigh if you like. And you want to feel it on the inner thigh of that straight leg. And the straight leg is never completely straight. We always want to keep a soft lock in the knee. Good. And then we just transfer the weight across to the other side. Good. So you can have your hands on the back of the chair. You can have your hands on your thigh.
So actually sitting the hips back over the side we're going to.
Because one of the big mistakes we can make is letting that front knee go too far forward, and then you feel that in your knee. So see, Duncan's not letting his knee go past his toes. So lots of good options there. And if you do have any questions about any of the exercises that we're giving you, please let us know. Just pop a message there in the comments section and we can definitely get back to you about that. All right, let's finish off in a seated position. So bring your chair back around. Lovely. And now let's bring one leg out in front. Let's go through our hamstring stretch again, but leaning forward from the hips. And seeing if you can feel it a little bit more in the back of that lower leg. And one of the other options is to add in a bit of a stretch for your back. So whichever leg is out in front, the arm on that side, you want to place the hand on the other thigh. And then the other arm, we're going to reach across, hold on to that leg and just gently move forward again. You might feel just a mild stretch around the upper back of the shoulders. And then come back upright. And let's do the same thing on the other side. So lifting up tall, relaxing the shoulders. As you breathe out, let's lean forward. Lovely. And then the other option, remember these are all options, so you do what feels right for you. Hand goes on the thigh, reach across, just try and hold on to the outside of either the upper leg or the lower leg. Making sure it feels comfortable for your shoulders. And then coming back in and bringing the legs together. Lovely. Now we're going to go into a spinal stretch. With this spinal stretch, we're going to lift up very tall, so our feet are flat on the floor. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're rotating your torso and then bringing your hand across to place it on the outside of the other leg. And you might want to just hold on to your chair as you do that, and then turn and look to the side. Just keep taking those nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. And then slowly release, come back to the center and across to the other side. Hold on to the chair, lift up nice and tall. Breathe out as you rotate. Relaxing that front shoulder as well. And then slowly coming back to the center. Nice. Give the shoulders a little roll. Good. And then drop the arms down by your side. Let's take a breath in, and as we breathe in, raise the arms up about shoulder height. As you breathe out, just let them float back down. So let's take a deep breath in through the nose, right down into the belly. Long breath out through the nose or the mouth. Good, and again, taking a deep breath in, let's lift the arms up a bit higher. Remember, if your shoulders are not great, you just do what feels right for you. Breathe in. And out. Lovely. One more time. All the way up if you can. Reaching up, stretching the body, and then floating the arms down. Great. Give everything a little shake out. And thanks you so much for joining us today, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this on such a rainy day. It's not so bad to be inside, is it? I'm glad that you're coming along and doing the exercises with us. Remember, these are all saved on our COTA ACT Facebook page, so you're welcome to go back and do them again. Thanks so much to Duncan for joining me. It's always great to have a partner and to show everybody how we can do these exercises in a different way. As I mentioned, if you've got any questions, any comments, please let us know. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. And next week I'll have Donna joining me, and she is another one of our Strength for Life instructors here. And we'll be doing a cardio, mobility and stretch session. So a little bit different from today. So I hope to see you next week. Have a good week. Stay healthy, stay well, and bye for now. Bye. Well done.